Hello and welcome to my NFL Week 9 review. Nothing to be said. Let's get on with it. First off, we have Eagles at Texans, and I was really damn close to getting this on the dime. I had them. I'll do my prediction first, and then the actual final score after. So I had Eagles winning 27-16 because I know the Eagles are good and they're probably going to be undefeated for a while. I don't really see many teams beating the Eagles, and if they do, it's probably because they are taking their first strings out to save them from injuries. But I also didn't think the Texans are terrible, not as bad as their record says. And sure thing, I was pretty right. I mean, I was off by 2 points on the Eagles, and I was off by 1 point on the Texans. Like, that is pretty crazy that I almost got that. And a completely blind guess, too. I mean, I was going based off of what I've seen from the Eagles and from the Texans, and I was like, you know what? I think the Texans will be able to get something done, especially it being at the Texans. It's going to be hard for the Eagles to maintain an undefeated record because everybody's going to give them their best shot. So, and they did. It wasn't a good shot, but I was pretty close. Seahawks at Cardinals. I kind of had these scores flip-flopped. I tried to, give it to my Cardinals, and I was hoping that we would learn from our mistakes and, we would just not suck on the offense, but we just continued to suck on the offense. And the only reason it's a 10-point game is because we had a given pick six, literally a given pick six. Like, without that, it's 14-31. Cardinals are just down the shitter. We're now 3-6. We can't make the playoffs unless miraculous odds occur, which isn't going to happen. And yeah, it's just too bad that the Cardinals have this team and they can't do anything with it right now. The Chargers at the Falcons, I love the no animation there. It's my favorite. I had the Falcons winning this one, and it looked like they were going to win by this score, but they kind of fell on their faces and stopped scoring. I'm pretty sure the Falcons were up 14-3 at a point, and they could have kept going, but they sold. And, let's see here. No, I'm sorry. They were up 10-0 in the first quarter. And then right before the end of the second quarter, it was 14-10, then 17. So they could have easily taken this game away, but instead they let the Chargers come back in the game and kick a field goal with no time left on the clock. And the Falcons disappointed me, and the Chargers didn't disappoint me, although both teams look very disappointing overall. I thought the Falcons were recovering and the Chargers were collapsing, but, they're both just this is just their skill level. They're just not that good. Dolphins at Bears. I think Tua is now 6-0 in games that he actually played in. So, I mean, this was my prediction. This was a pretty spanking good guess for such a game. Nobody would have guessed this final score. That's all I got to say. But the final score was 35-32. I was 2 points off of the Dolphins and 5 points off of the Bears. Justin Fields, man, he looks like he's getting better, and he's looking like he could start bringing the Bears to the glory. Whereas Tua had a fourth down conversion and he underthrew the man, and I was just like, oh boy, man, that concussion must have done something wrong. Because that was a wide open man. How do you underthrow him? But anyways, I mean, yeah, I didn't really watch this one the whole way through. I thought the Dolphins would have had it. I just would have had it, and then I saw the final score. I was like, damn, pretty close. I don't know if I remember properly, but I think the Bears missed a field goal to tie it. Sorry for the loud noises. This microphone is being fantastic right now and making a lot of noises. Panthers at Bengals. I was wrong about this one because who would have thought Joe Mixon would have just gone crazy like that? I'm pretty sure he had like 52 points in fantasy or something like that. Crazy for him. And I think Baker Mayfield came in and started throwing some touchdowns. So maybe he's returning. Maybe he's making a little bit of a comeback. Packers at Lions, dude. Nobody would have. I had the Lions winning, but not by how much they did, and not as low as a scoring game as it was. The Packers look terrible, and I think it's time for Aaron Rodgers to just accept retirement. Last year was his year, and he sold it, and right then he should have been like, yep, we out, because they are now 3-6 along with the Cardinals, and they just don't look good. Don't look good at all. Lost against two of the worst teams in the league, in my opinion, the Washington Commanders and the Lions now. That's just bad. It's terrible losses. I was on the right track for Patriots, but Colts incorrect. I just don't get how the Patriots do this to teams. They just go and shut them out like insane. Mac Jones looks terrible, but who was I don't know who the quarterback is for the Colts in this game, but oh boy, sack after sack after sack after sack. I don't think it was Matt Ryan, but if it was, still got sacked a shit ton. And yeah, it was all defense for the Patriots. Bills at Jets. I thought the Bills would handle this like pretty easily. Didn't have a whole lot of faith in Zach Wilson, but you know what? The Jets got her done. Josh Allen had a terrible pick at the beginning of the game, and that was like all for me. That was all for me. I was like, oh boy. But yeah, the Jets managed to pull it off, an unbelievable upset, and that helps them a lot in their conference. Vikings at Commanders. This was my prediction, 28-19. I was kind of on the right track for the Redskins, but not for the Vikings. Or I'm sorry, the Commanders, not the Redskins. But nonetheless, Vikings returned from the dead and won this game, and that's why I think the Redskins are one of the bad teams, one of the worst teams in the leagues. Think their record is just higher than what it should be. Wish the Cardinals had that record right now. Raiders at the Jaguars. I was spanking close again on this game. Final score was 20-27. I had 17-23. Pretty close. But while I was watching this game, I was like, oh boy, my prediction was off completely. I just don't understand how the Raiders managed to be so terrible all the time. I can't believe they've sold so many games, one being to the Cardinals. Like, they literally have had games packed up and ready to go home, and they just sell it. I don't get it. I thought they would be one of the better teams this year, but apparently not. And oh boy, I had this one, final score-wise, I was right. Well, no, the point difference, I was right. But the score, I was not right. Tom Brady led a crazy, kind of lucky drive at the end of the game. He's lucky the Rams defense kind of shit the bed and whatnot. But Brady's Brady, did Brady things. And yeah, the Rams, these teams are absolutely terrible. And I can tell you this much. There might as well be two AFC teams in the fucking Super Bowl, because ain't nobody want to see no NFC team in the Super Bowl right now, because there ain't a good one. Oh, other than the Eagles, which they could easily win out. And if they lose to anybody, that would be the most disappointing thing, because that would be one boring-ass Super Bowl. Titans at Chiefs. Dude, I cannot believe that I had the Titans score right. I had their score right, but I thought the Chiefs were going to annihilate them. But the Chiefs, I'm actually surprised they even won this game. They came out from the dead. It was 17-9, and they managed to just beat them. I mean, I don't get how, if that doesn't tell you the Titans are bad, I don't know what else will. The record is way higher than it should be. All they had was Derrick Henry, who scored both of their touchdowns. That was it. They just, Titans are Derrick Henry. It's Derrick Henry versus the AFC and the NFC. Like, he literally is just a single player playing against these teams. I guess the Tennessee defense is all right. I mean, they held the Chiefs to 20 points, so that's pretty impressive. But offensively, it's Derrick Henry. And I didn't have a prediction for this game. I think I forgot about it. But I would have put the Saints anyways winning this game. I didn't think the Ravens were going to crush them. Like, this was even 6-27. Like, at the Saints too, I was like, oh boy. I didn't watch this one. It was a Monday night game. I don't watch Monday Night Football because I got school and work, so that's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's the NFL Week 9 review. Kind of crazy. Really, it was a pretty sad week for me. Predictions, I was pretty close on stuff, but teams that I wanted to win and teams that I wanted to lose is kind of like the other way. So, also not a very entertaining week of football. I kind of found myself bored watching NFL Red Zone. But anyways, that's all for me. Adios.